Those who contemplate the beauty of earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. Rachel Carson. And it is the Rachel Carson herself, a 23-foot conservation vessel boasting, protecting your water without compromise, that powers me through this earthly beauty of the basin called Catawba. This story begins with rocks, mountains, and gorges, things I love. I will tell you this story so that you may know what to do. The Catawba River Basin starts with the Appalachian mountain chain, which reveals the pristine nature of free-flowing water. The long chains of folded and faulted marine sedimentary rock and slivers of an ocean floor were formed close to 500 million years ago. Ultimately, this range eroded to a flat plain and then uplifted to form the topography of the mountains we cherish now. And it is from these ancient folds and faults that the stream, the mighty river we call Catawba, is born. Most of the Catawba River is dammed. There are 11 major lakes in the basin and numerous smaller lakes. The dams that form these lakes have a major impact on the flow of the river. Seated in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains and the first lake in the system, Lake James gathers surface water from the west by the way of the Catawba River and the north from the streams of the Pisgah National Forest. Built over 7 years beginning in 1916, Lake James consists of over 6,800 acres of a state park and recreational waters. The Catawba flows due east from Lake James into Lake Rhodus, a narrow lake with 90 miles of shoreline that supplies water for Granite Falls, Lenoir, Morganton, and Valdez. Continuing east, the Catawba becomes Lake Hickory, an intensely populated lake with homes occupying a majority of the shoreline through the city it was named after. Just below Oxford Dam, the journey takes on the look of a river again, traveling through a rocky landscape around River Bend Park until it turns due south into Lookout Shoals Lake. As the Catawba River continues south, it becomes North Carolina's largest lake, Lake Norman. Lake Norman was created in 1964 with the completion of Cowan's Ford Dam. It was the last reservoir to be created of the 11 lakes impounded. Lake Norman's waters provide an abundance of energy, drinking water, and recreation to North Carolinians. The 32,000 acres is nearly equal to the surface area of the other 10 lakes of the Catawba River system combined. Water stays in Lake Norman for more than 200 days before flowing through the dam. A few winding river miles downstream, the Catawba enters the last lake entirely bounded by the state of North Carolina, Mountain Island Lake. While only 1/10 the size of Lake Norman, this lake provides drinking water to over 750,000 people in Charlotte, Mount Holly, and the Gastonia area. Bridging the Catawba River's transition into the Palmetto State, Lake Wiley's 25-mile course is more like a large, wide river than a lake. Created in 1904, it is the oldest lake on the Catawba River. The largest free-flowing section of the Catawba River is a 30-mile section below Lake Wiley, which was recently designated as a South Carolina scenic river. This section of the river includes the largest grove of spider lilies in the world. These are rare and threatened. It is precisely in this area that the endemic spider lily blooms once a year. Here, the great blue heron fishes for red ear sunfish. The Catawba River Basin is a heartbreaker. It grows on you. It becomes part of your DNA, literally. The early inhabitants bore its name, the Catawba Indians, people of the river. Taken at face value, it makes sense, and it causes a frighteningly real sense of responsibility. Right now, about 2 million of us depend on the river, and we need it to be clean. We are all Catawbans, but the river is not clean. The Catawba River ranks second for cancer-causing pollution. Industrial facilities discharge 97,000 pounds of chemicals linked to cancer into the river. 4 of the EPA's 44 high-hazard coal ash impoundments reside along the river. Heavy metals in our drinking water can disrupt the regulation of every major function in your body. Mercury levels in fish have resulted in statewide fish advisories. Raw sewage causes algae blooms and decreased oxygen that causes fish kills. Muddy water keeps sunlight from reaching aquatic plants. Our basin is one of the fastest growing areas in the United States, and unfortunately, the population growth has put severe strains on the river. Water quality at many locations in the basin is impaired. Shortages of water are becoming increasingly common. And as a result of these problems, in 2008, American Rivers named the Catawba Watery River as the most endangered river in the United States. The Catawba Riverkeeper Foundation is your on-the-water partner, resource, and advocate, helping to protect the river for responsible usage and enjoyment. Our engaged volunteer network, robust member community, and professional staff provide accurate, unbiased information and education on your drinking water supply, as well as broader concerns affecting your river. As a nonprofit organization, we provide facts and figures regarding heavy metals and chemical contamination in our river. No delays, no governmental red tape. Did you know that our government sampled fish tissue in 2001 for heavy metals, and this information was not released until 2009? The PCB concentrations in residential largemouth bass was 3 times the federal screening value. We should not have to wait months or years to know what's in the water we swim in and the fish we eat. The Catawba River, our drinking water, deserves absolute assurances that the 4 coal ash ponds along its banks will be cleaned out, lined, monitored, and closed for usage as soon as possible. Catawba Riverkeeper David Merriman says it best.
From my childhood of playing in what I thought was a creek and learning that that water was not a creek at all, but just the wastewater from our neighborhood treatment plant and the runoff from the parking lots and roads in my development, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that being a riverkeeper was the job for me, to making sure that our waterways were protected for myself, my family, and future generations, our kids, to make sure they had a drinking water supply and a river that they could go in and play in safely without having to worry about what their feet were in, what they were swimming in, or what they were eating.
Now when you're feeling blue, you don't know what to do. When all your friends have turned you down and you're really through, go down to the Catawba where the water's so blue. Then you know you've got the mean old Catawba River blues.
At all stages of our lives, childhood, middle age, and into our golden years, we experience water. It is the fundamental element that makes life unique on Earth, the water planet. Somewhere, someone turns us on to water. Whether at an ocean, a lake, a river, or a community pool, we teach our children to enjoy water, and hopefully we also teach them to conserve and protect it. Good things come from simple measures. We are striving to implement educational opportunities that encourage good stewardship of our water for generations to come through our youth kayaking program. It is fun, it is informative, and it lasts for generations. The Catawba Riverkeeper Foundation believes that education for all across the broad spectrum of economic circumstances will be the vehicle that continues the legacy of working toward water quality and conservation issues.
Excited.
Extraordinary.
Overwhelmed.
Splendid.
Thank you, Catawba River Keepers!
Catawba River Keepers, an on-the-water advocate, is a 501c3 nonprofit. Your tax-deductible donation can go towards helping protect the Catawba River, the water, and the recreation we all greatly enjoy.
The Catawba Riverkeeper Foundation combines education with scientific rigor, community outreach, and environmental activism in the pursuit of collaborative solutions. Our goal is to ensure that clean and abundant water continues to flow from the mountains, through the lakes, and into your homes and businesses. So do you want to help us? Contact CatawbaRiverkeeper.org. If there is magic on this planet, it is contained in water. Lauren Isley.